All right, JP, so my mate did match betting and he got all his accounts banned pretty quick. So what's the difference between what he did and what the system does? Like, how do you guys stop people from getting banned?
Yeah, so obviously people who discover match betting, they get excited, get their accounts banned. Obviously, hey, come across your site, done this for 3 months, got 15 bookies banned. We see that all the time, right? Basically, the difference between what we do, it's always been a point of difference, is the fact that we kind of have a really good understanding of how the bookies operate. So how they ban you, why they ban you, what you can do to stay off their radar. There's also a really good understanding of each bookie being different. So obviously like a Sportsbet and a tab is different to a Swiftbet. So having a good understanding of what bookies you are operating and how you're operating them is really important. And also knowing how to set up your accounts. So at the start of whenever you start up a betting account, the bookie's profiling you. So they have their own systems. All bookies are different. But if you're someone who is coming in there and you're throwing $500 a week down the sink and you're betting on multis and same game multis, you're their dream customer, right? But if you're someone who comes in there really methodical, start hammering promotions, start taking their edge away from them and only using that edge, they can identify you pretty quickly as someone who's going to not be a good customer for them. And essentially they can take away your promotions if they want to, because at the end of the day, they're giving you that and it's their right to take them away. So if you can set up your accounts at the start really well, which is taught in our Platinum Squad, and then also know how to use the promotions in a more sustainable way while you're still taking money off them without abusing them and spreading that across more bookies, you have a higher chance of keeping your accounts open.
So when I sign up, should I just like place 20 leg multis? Is that what you're saying?
Definitely not. Obviously, it's a good question because a lot of people think, well, how do you stay off the radar without gambling? There is ways in which you can through various different methods. Now, in our free course, we do explain how to turn over a cash bet for no risk or low risk. I shouldn't say no risk, but like lose like 2% on a two-way Dutch. So, for example, you can back a team here on Sportsbet, back a team here on Tab, cash v cash. Because of the bookie's edge, you lose 2-3%. Sportsbet sees you placing a non-promo bet. Tab sees you placing a non-promo bet. And this is kind of like a dummy bet to keep them sort of, so you're not just using promotions. If you just go to a shop that is always having a sale and you only go there for sales and you never buy anything any other time, I mean, they probably won't want you as a customer, even though obviously you're still making money. It's just someone who's just abusing, like taking advantage of what's there and not really being a proper customer. So there are also other ways, not just, you can't just go cash v cash and randomly just bet. You got to also know the other more advanced tactics, which getting into the Platinum Squad is talking about, like, for example, how you're placing your promo bets without going into too much detail, like what you're staking on them, how many promos you're taking per week, what your other bets are, because you can't take the piss and go and put $50 on every promo and then put $1 bets on non-promo. Like, that's just taking the piss, and they can pretty much pick up on that stuff really quickly. So there's a number of different ways in which you can stay under the radar, and it's also really dependent on what bookie as well. But once you learn all of these different things, there's about 4 hours worth of videos in the Platinum Squad on all the different variables. There's about 16 different points that focus on sustainability in that video. You can then apply that to the different bookies, and then you just keep adding information. People pick up different things in the community and obviously add that to their process.
Yeah, right. So when you say not all bookies are the same, how is like Tab and Sportsbet, how are they different to a bookie like Swiftbet? Aren't they all just bookies offering the same market, same odds, that type of stuff?
No. So plain and simple, Tab is huge. Like they have way bigger organization, more employees, more markets, more spread across Australia. They have obviously venues. They're backed by way more capital, I guess. Swiftbet's more of a smaller bookie, and what that means is as well, with these smaller bookies, they have less resources available and less people, also less as in people working for them, also less customers, which means technically they will be less likely to not care as much about promo abusers. So they'll identify a promo abuser or someone who's match betting really quickly because they have less risk appetite. They have less money. So if someone's coming in and thousands of people are rorting them, they're probably going to get rid of them. Whereas Tab can afford, when people like 10,000 match bettors bet on Tab, it's not going to affect them as much. Whereas Swiftbet might not even have 20,000 customers. Who knows? Like, I'm speculating, but Tab would have over 100,000, 200,000, maybe more. So if the higher majority of people are punters on Tab versus match bettors, they can afford to let people get away with things. Whereas SwiftBet are going to hit you pretty hard, and yeah, they have less money, so they have less risk, essentially. And also their promotions are different as well. So Tab can afford to offer like promotions on, let's say, 12 to, or maybe more, like 20 races on a Saturday and 10, 12 races on a Wednesday, whereas SwiftBet might only offer like 3 or 4 promos on a Wednesday and maybe like 8 on a Saturday. So generally speaking, those bookies are like extras. They're not relied upon. You're going to hit the main bookies like your Sportsbets and your Tabs. Not to say that you're going to abuse them, but you can use them more in terms of the promos, and then your SwiftBets and your smaller bookies are there to just add a bit of not insurance, but a bit of I don't know, they're just diversifying your promos. So if you're using 40 promos in a week and you've got 20 bookies, you can use, I don't know, 1 SwiftBet promo a week, and you just add. And if you add 10 of those smaller ones, there's 10 promos a week that you've taken off some of the bigger ones, which means that you have spread the load. Not sure if that answered your question. Does it?
Yeah, it does. But then, like, if Tab is so big, wouldn't they have the resources to, like, identify match bettors straight away? Like, surely they just have some supercomputer that's, like, you know, keeping track of everyone?
Yeah, it's a good question. We always have this debate as well with Sportsbet, especially. They seem to be... We always have the debate. It's like, do you think that they don't care, or is it because they don't have the resources available, or they're just not channeling those resources into that? It's a hard question, because I also feel like because they want more market share and because they make things so convenient, e.g. like Sportsbet has easily the best interface, I would say. Tab massively increased their interface in the last 12 months. They've caught up a little bit. But everyone loves punting on Sportsbet because of what they offer. They're the good guys. They have elite marketing. They're funny. They give you like weird payouts when you got hard done by, shit like that, and they want you on their side. So when they look after you, they get you on their side, which means you bet more on their platform. And part of that also comes with giving you more go. So they're less likely to ban you because maybe they're trying to get you on their side a bit more. I don't know the answer as to whether they don't care. I'm not saying you'll never get banned. People obviously get banned from Sportsbet and Tab all the time if they don't know what they're doing. But they're way less likely to get banned than a SwiftBet. And as a result of that, who knows? Maybe it is because they don't care, but maybe it is also because they just can. I don't know.
Sorry to interrupt, guys. It's Steve here. If you're sick of the ads on YouTube, jump over to Spotify or Apple Music and you can listen to the podcast there.
Yeah, right. So what about Betfair? What's the go with them? Because, you know, they offer odds as well. They take your money, that type of thing. Are they just a bookie as well? Like, what's the go with Betfair?
Plain and simple, Betfair is an exchange. Now, that is different to a bookmaker. So when you place a bet on Sportsbet or Tab, you're betting against Sportsbet or Tab. So if your bet wins, you are paid by Sportsbet. And if your bet loses, Sportsbet takes your money. With an exchange, think of it like eBay, right? eBay is a platform, also an exchange. Buyer, seller, eBay takes a fee of that transaction. eBay's not making money they are making money off the sale, but they're not getting the money from the buyer and the seller. They're just taking a commission. Betfair does the same thing. So on the exchange, you can back something and you can lay something. A lay bet is essentially the opposite of a back bet. Not going into the details on how to do the calculations, but if you are a backer here and I'm a layer here and I lay the horse and you back the horse, if the horse loses, doesn't win the race, my bet wins, your bet loses, I get your money, Betfair takes a commission. So in terms of how they're different, Betfair doesn't care about how much money you make because you can just withdraw from their site. As a result of you turning over money, they're making money off you. So essentially the more you turn over, unless you get into like the premium tax, which is what the really, really top end punters get into, you're not going to be they don't care how much money you make. Whereas obviously Sportsbet and Tab, if you were to take them for 20, 30, 40K, obviously they're going to be likely to potentially promo ban you or restrict you because you're not a customer that is making the money. It also means that you can withdraw from Betfair whenever you want. So because of that, that's a massive aid for a match bettor, because without saying that we encourage this, we definitely don't anymore. We used to. Trying to get your money from Sportsbet to Betfair, knowing that Sportsbet do care about your profit and loss, technically, and Betfair don't. If you move the money from Sportsbet to Betfair via backing and laying, even though this is going to cost you a fee, in theory, if you were withdrawing the money over here on Betfair, you can then redistribute that money into your other retail accounts. If you're low on capital, that's the sort of thing that you can do. But again, we don't do this anymore because it can go the other way. Back lay, back bet wins, Betfair gets drained, Sportsbet goes up.
Yeah, right. So with Sportsbet and Tab, especially Sportsbet, do you think the appeal of them is, like, what do you think the appeal is? Because everyone has them, you know? Like, I feel like if you were a punter hanging out with your mates and you're not using Sportsbet or Tab, you'd almost be looked at like you're a bit weird. Like, do you reckon people are almost pressured into using Sportsbet?
Yeah, not pressured, but it's almost like an expectation. Like any punter would have Sportsbet. Like, and that would be, I'd say the majority of people's primary betting app would be Sportsbet. They just make it so cool. They make it so convenient. They have all the best features. They know exactly what punters want. If you look at the last 3 years, I remember my first ever, or maybe my second ever viral TikTok in 2021 was me talking about Bet with Mates when it first started. And I said, this is the most genius feature, because I literally said this. I'm like, you're all going to get sucked in because you all now think, I said something along the lines of this, like, what makes you think that going and betting with 10 of your loser mates is going to make you start making money when you're already losing? And everyone fucking hated it. But it's designed because Sportsbet know that if you get 18, 19, 20-year-olds punters clubs together, they now don't have to write it down on a piece of paper, track it. It's just like, fuck yeah, let's all put money into this thing and let's fucking turn it into 100K. And it's really cool and convenient to be able to do that. So in terms of why they've got the market share, is it cool? Are they pressured? I don't think they are. It's just they make it so easy to consume that they've now got pure market share. And also they've got the best marketing, most budget, I would say, well and truly. I'd say they have like 50% of the market share in Australia. They've got like AFL influencers like Nathan Browns and stuff promoting shit. Now, I think he's lost a bit of his reputation with since Track My Browns come out. Like, obviously more people are aware to like that not actually being profitable, but still people are punting with Sportsbet. Like, I don't know, you get the hard done by payouts, you get the photo finish stuff that people like think it's amazing. You get the second and third promos on almost every race on a Saturday. So like, yeah, and the same game multi promo, so that they're running the market and they run the show. So if their promotions are slowing down or if they take away promotions, you'll see the other ones will also, like, it's seasonal. So like they'll go hard first start of the AFL season, first 5 rounds, and then they'll drop off, and then the rest of them will drop off, and then Sportsbet will hit again, and they all follow. So it's like they kind of run the show a bit.
Yeah, like, is that how it's always been? Because obviously before betting apps and stuff, you had to go to the TAB to place a bet, but I feel like for as long as I can remember, Sportsbet's kind of been the default. Did they just like pop up out of nowhere?
But yeah, they're always the biggest, I would say. Tab would have probably been the biggest because of the monopoly in sort of the venues, apart from WA. But in terms of online presence, I don't know, I haven't done my research on this, but I'd say, yeah, since about 20, I can remember when I first placed bets when I was in year 12. I was, I reckon I was 17 placing bets with my mum's account. And all the boys were, like, what would happen back then, I actually didn't put any money in. You'd sign up to Sportsbet and they'd just give you a bonus. And I'm pretty sure this is what happened. I didn't put any money in. And then kind of some of the boys like turned into their $50 bonus into like 500 and whatever. And then they couldn't withdraw it because it wasn't their account. So then they ended up losing it all. But point is, I think back then they were like one of the only ones. And then kind of Luxbet and Ladbrokes and those ones came about. But yeah.
Yeah, right. Would you personally ever start a bookie? Like, would you become one? Because you know there's lots of cash in it.
We've kind of answered this one. People would make a lot of money, and obviously at the expense of punters. Everyone who owns a bookie, unless you go broke, is going to do well. But no, personally, I would not want to make a business that's essentially taking someone's money. I'm more interested in helping people. We run a business currently which makes people money and everyone wins. So there's a consumer, they're paying for education and a service and or a product. As a result of that, they make money. If you pay Sportsbet or you lose money to Sportsbet, you're losing money as a result of entertainment. So it's a win-loss. There's no, apart from the gain of fun, entertainment, which is an objectifiable number, it is a loss-win, whereas ours is win-win. So, yeah. Personally, no, I would never open a bookmaker. Easy. Well, hopefully you've all learned something, and if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, we'll be doing more of this in the future. If you haven't done our free course, go get started. Cheers.